this is basically what we are about to do, but it'll be on the pass up in 2x2. That was fun. We linked together one side of the front and one side of the back. Hopefully we did it right. We'll find out soon. What we need to do now is the collar. The collar should be 62 left, 62 right. I'm going to do the same setup as we did for all the other pieces, but we're going to start with waste yarn, and we're going to do just one by one for a few seconds, change to the black strippers from the orange strippers, and then we will knit on one side, transfer it back, E-wrap and stuff. It's kind of confusing because I have no idea what I'm actually doing, but we're going to make it work. So the first thing I'm going to do is set up for one by one configuration, and then we'll switch. So I brought up one extra needle on the front bed so that I will be able to, what's the term here? I will be able to have it on the front bed with the needle rule in place. I don't know if that made any sense at all, but we're going to get going on this. So the first thing that I need to do is to make sure that I'm totally set up correctly with my strippers and my yarn and my tension. So I'm going to start at 1.5 tension, row count 000. Both locks are in N, orange strippers are in, and I'm going to knit across one time and see how it goes. Looks good. Okay, everything looks good. Going to CX, tension 4, both beds. Going to do my circular. My Lord, why? Oh, that was so hard, and I don't know why. There's no reason for it. Okay, back to NN, tension 5.5. Going to knit a couple rows, and then I'm going to transfer and change out the stripper. Okay, so now we're going to only knit on the back bed. So I'm going to change out to the black strippers. Going to change the front bed to GX. Front bed will stay in N, and we will knit a couple rows in this off-white, and then I want to do an E-wrap with our red. To me, this is pretty frightening. I have not put any weight on the bottom of this work. I'm just trusting that this pass-up will behave. I've been told it will behave. while I do all of this work, I'm going to pause the video and we'll be back. Okay, so here we go. Front's in GX, back's in N, black strippers are in, and now we're going to see what happens. Pretty neat. Cool. I think that I should probably not use 5.5 as my stitch size. I think we'll go back down to 4. Because I think it needs to, just to have that little bit of difference in tightness. Okay, 4 more rows. All right, so now I'm going to E-wrap the red into the white. To do that, I'm going to grab the yarn tail for the next color. Actually, I'm going to load the next color. But I'm still going to grab the yarn tail. Very carefully. Starting at the opposite end, I'm going to bring the needle forward. I'm going to E-wrap it. Should be E-wrapped this way. Pull it back, come through, and I'm just going to manually E-wrap this whole row. I will then knit 1 row, and then I will transfer the stitches in a 2x2 configuration. I don't know if I'm blocking that or not. I probably am. So I'll do a couple the opposite way. And that's what I'm going to do all the way across this work. I'll come back when that's done. All right, so I got that E-wrapped. Putting that back together. I zeroed out my row counter. I now am going to line up my stitches here. I just gotta find my scale for this thing, which I have misplaced. Okay, I found it. So I'm going to move these up, make them match. Put my edge thingy back on. This one looks like it's trying to come off, which is weird. Huh. Well, that's just strange. Pull it from underneath. Huh. All right. Tool here. I'm not understanding exactly why. Okay. I don't want to lose this because I did all this hard work. It's definitely not working. Okay. I'm gonna let that one go. Put the stitch back on there. I'm going to put some weight on it. Okay. That latch seems to really like to grab things. Letting it go. Bring that back up there. Okay. There we go. So now we're okay. Looks fine. Well, looks like this one let go over here too. So I'm going to add some weight to that as well. Crazy. Okay. I'm not sure why this has happened. But this is why I E-wrapped it. All right. No others appear to have released themselves. Oh, that one's close. Okay, here we go. Tension 4. We're in N. This one's still in GX. Knitting across one time. I'm going to pause this. Alright, so 3/4 of these never knit off, so I'm just going to do it by hand. Alright, so hand tooled it, not a big deal. Now I'm going to do the transfers like I said I was going to. 2 by 2, starting at the center. So that just transfers over. To there. 1 and 2. So I'm just going to keep transferring them, and then we'll come back and we will make sure that we change the lock back to NN for the front lock. Okay, so I have now hand transferred it from being on the back bed to being both on the front and the back bed. I have done it by hand. I have switched out my strippers to the orange strippers. I'm taking my front bed out of GX. My back bed never left N. I'm at tension 4, tension 4. I am now going to knit across 12 times. So actually 11 times, because I already knit row 1. So now I'm going to knit 11 more rows in 2 by 2 configuration, tension 4, both beds. Good luck. Okay, everything looks okay. looks like I moved my bed by accident. 1 second. Okay, so now we're going to do something totally crazy. I'm now going to transfer all of the stitches back to the back bed, knit 1 row, and then transfer them opposite. That way I will get a single row of stitching as a fold over row on my knitting. So that's what I'm going to do, and we'll come back when that's done. I'm kind of silly. I miscounted. I need to knit 1 more row. Now it's row 12. So now I will transfer everything over and then we will come back. Okay, to prepare for the next stage, you want to move up the opposite stitches on the front bed. You want to make sure it's in GX on the front bed. And you're just going to move those up so that when you knit across to the left side, you will then be transferring onto the stitches that you have upward. Make sure you don't undo the needle rule. That is important. So just ignore the stitches for the needle rule. So we're just moving up 2 stitches opposite to the 2 that we just moved. We're then going to put in the black strippers to knit across. Okay. Just gonna mark that. Black strippers going in. All right, everything looks good. We're in GX4, N4, resetting our row counter. We are now going to knit across 1 row and see what happens. Oh, I need to realign my stitches. Hang on. Some of them are a little more forward than they should be. I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, so now I'm going to switch all of these stitches back down and take my machine out of GX and back into NN. Put in my orange strippers again. Reset row counter to 000, and we will be knitting another 12 rows. So I'm just going to do this transfer and then we'll come back. Alright, so now we are the opposite. And now we are going to go very carefully, making sure these are all aligned. Okay, nobody's up that should be up. Now we're going to knit 12 rows. Now, if you haven't guessed it, we're going to transfer everything back up to the back bed, and we are going to bring up the waste yarn, and we're going to hang the first row that we did the E-wrap on onto the bed. Wish us luck. Okay, we are transferred. Everything looks good. I'm now going to do my best to lift up this waste yarn and bring it up. All right. Carefully bringing this up. I'm getting some resistance here. Now this is why we did the E-wrap, so that if we do drop this, it's not the end of the universe. We can pick it up. Alright, so we're up. Taking the same old tool. We need some slack here, so I'm going to cut this yarn. Okay. So now I need to figure out where to start this. It's probably going to be easier to start from this side. Okay. So there's my yarn. There's that first loop. I'm going to put that first loop on the second stitch. Okay, I'm just going to pull it over, and I'm just going to work it all the way across, hanging these things onto these stitches. I'm going to try my best not to move it too far. I have horrible lighting right now, because my bulb burnt out in my favorite light. But this is what we're going to do. We're just going to hang those loops onto the adjacent stitches. Okay, so I have hung every single one of those little yarn purl bumps when we did the E-wrap. So every single one of those is on a coordinated stitch. Oh, hard words. I am now putting my edge marker thingies on there. Moving my other edge marker closer. Changing out my strippers again to the black ones. Front bed into GX, back bed stays in N. I'm going to increase my stitch size to 5.5. Can only hope that everything goes okay. You've done your best, it's the best you can do. Pulling down the white waste yarn. Okay, We are now going to knit 2 rows. Very carefully. 1 and 1 more. Now we are going to transfer all of those stitches onto the front bed and put the back bed into GX. Yeah, I know, I just confused you all, but it'll work, trust me. Alright, so now we have everything on the front bed. Lowering the beds. Removing anything that we use to make our lives easier, because we don't need them now. Okay, we are now going to bring the back and front, and we're going to put them on the bed. So we look at our back here, right? So this is the wrong side, this is the right side, right? And we want the right side against the back here. Boy, that didn't sound good. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have the right sides together. So we're going to bring the back up first through the beds very carefully. Try not to snag it on anything silly. Okay, so we have the back here first, and we know from when we did the seam that the back starts right where our yarn marker is. So the yarn marker is the first one to go on the bed. Now we're working very, very carefully. We'll work up through the beds without getting our front piece twisted. I'm just going to have to work on this for a second. Give me, like I said, a second. Okay, that was a bit of a struggle again. I just do not want my wheels on my chair to catch the yarn tails. Okay, so we know where the end is. And now we have to hang the front and the back on 62 left, 62 right, or 63. Hang on. 61. Okay, 63 left, 63 right on the back bed. And then we will transfer them over to the front bed when we have them the way that we would like them to be. So I'm hanging 3 stitches, and then I'm doubling up stitch 4 and 5. So stitch 4 and stitch 5. Then hanging 3 and then doubling up 4 and 5. I'll come back when that's done, and then we'll start working on easing the front on. So now I have the back on, a few stitches. When we did the front, we made sure to mark the center of the front. I'm just going to fish it back up through here. Okay. Now you see this is our center stitch. We want to make sure that our center stitch is somewhere around the center of the needles that are left. So let's count them, shall we? This is 10, 20, 1, 2, so this is 23, and this is 63. So 23 plus 63. Let's check on our calculator. (23 plus 63 equals 86 divided by 2 equals 43. So 63 is here, 53, no, 43. Okay, so that's 23, then 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. So we should need to be right about here, more or less. So we were a pretty good guess. So we'll pick up the center here. Take that off. So the center one should be about here. All right. We can move that all the way back if we want to. And that is center. Now we're going to pick up the edge here. We'll look about halfway, more or less. Pick a stitch, move it up. Do the same on this side. So whatever looks like half, more or less. Pick it up. You don't have to be perfect, but you pick it up and put it about halfway. And that's how you ease. So we're just going to keep picking up what is about half. And putting it on around center. As you get moving on it, it'll get easier. And once it's all done, it'll all disappear. Like you won't even see where you've been having fun with it. So I'm just going to keep working at this, and I'm just going to work all of these stitches onto the needles for the front. Because there's no cast off, we do not have to worry about any live stitches interfering. I hope that makes some sense. And we'll come back when this is done, and then I'll zoom in on it. Okay, my battery died, so we'll finish this collar in the next video.